When I set out of this journey over 23 years ago, talking about non-toxic products and taking supplements for your health, people say, been there, plenty of people doing that. Don't need it, don't need more of that. And yet I knew and still know that it is a journey that I will continue probably for the rest of my life. I've been 23 years doing it now. I'm not going to stop. Because when I started doing it, I suppose I had seen so much sickness and disease in hospitals. And of course, emotionally, when you know that that's all man-made and that people are unconsciously doing it to themselves, it can be very painful. So you want to go out and just save the whole world. Can't do it. But we are in changing times, and changing times means that I suppose now I can be a little bit more vocal about how I got here. Because people would often see, when you go out to the product, they'd see a person as a salesperson, or they would see you as somebody who wants to make more money, or they would have their own programming to see what you're doing to them, not for them. And when I started doing natural healing, I realized that we are connected to the earth. I learned about the elements that are in the energy field in the body, the water energy, the air, the sun, and the earth, and the ether. And they're energies that we must return to in order to become whole. And I could see that when I was nursing, when I looked back on it, I could see the madness of it. People being torn apart is the only thing that I would say. Torn apart for profit. One person is a cardiologist, another one is a rheumatologist, another one is a gynecologist, another one is a neurologist, the next one is a psychologist, the next one is an endocrinologist, and all of this, the whole system is built on people being torn apart. And when I came to, what was new as then, what still is the Maurer family, I could see that we could bring people and make them whole. And while I was trying to do that as a natural therapist, I knew there was no way that any natural therapist can do that without the help of science. Because to be wholly health, to have whole health, we have to be physically healthy, we have to be mentally healthy, we have to be emotionally healthy, we have to be spiritually healthy, and we have to be financially healthy. An awful lot of people don't take in the finances. That's very important. And we need to make people healthy in all these areas and bring them back and empower them to make choices for them without giving them support, but without any conditions attached to it. That's very important, that we give the information and people can do what they like. Of course, for me, I suppose when I started, I was so passionate that I would try and, you have to listen to this, try and convince people, how can I convince people? Can't convince people. Now I've come to the realization really that we are at a critical time in our evolution, I suppose I would say, and what has brought this to a head for me is what's going on in Iraq. What has happened in Venezuela. These are countries that are oil-based, and that oil has to be taken away. And that's, people also don't realize, I suppose, like connecting the dots. They have to join the dots, now that oil prices are going up, diesel and petrol prices are going up, they sort of think, oh yeah, I'm okay, I have enough money for that. They don't see the bigger picture. Because the Industrial Revolution, when it happened, it made industries and cars and all of that sort of thing. And then when it grew and grew and grew and grew, it then came into human health. And it started putting petrol into human health. And people don't connect the difference, but the connection between our environment in farming and our food and the health system, the sickness system, because there's so much in between. And anyway, they think that it's too difficult to be healthy when it's really so simple. Cut out everything in the middle, just look after your health. And health is all about being responsible for your own health. So we want to make sure that people get the very best and make being healthy a very simple, because it is very simple. Not when you go out there looking for it, but when you have people that come along and actually introduce you to something that just cuts out all the hype. So after the Second World War, the chemicals that were used for bombs and everything, all those chemicals that were used in industry, for cleaning industry, driving industry and all that sort of thing, anything that was left over, that's really when they started to put it into humans. So that started off when explosives were used as NPK, we know it as NPK, and that was spread on the land. And then when the land got sick, as it would, because you don't put petrol on land, when that got sick, then they had to put insecticides and herbicides, and insecticides, herbicides is something else. There's not more of them. They had to start putting them on the land, and that just made people more ill. And then they started to put them into personal care products. They started to use petrol, make it very. They've got scientists to turn petrol into something that you could wash your hair with, when in actual fact what they were doing is they were using it to clean the grease from garage floors. And the lubrications that came into creams and lotions. And then they made perfumes from that, and then they made all sorts of products that were used, from industrial chemicals, toothpaste. And if you have anti-dandruff or anything like that, it was used on humans and sold in the supermarkets. So they made the chemicals. Farmers and small businesses went out and they just sold them in the supermarket. They just made them, put a lovely front on them and sold them. So we are at this stage now where we have to move into the green industry. And I suppose for us, we're saying, with Sizzle now, we are able to move into the future, because we're able to solve all the problems that have been caused by the oil industry. And I suppose when we go out and talk to people, it can be very difficult for people to get through all the lies and all the tricks that they use in order to make people feel safe or buy their products. So we are, as I say, we're here to create a sustainable system. We're here to bring health and wellness to people. You take your essential nutrients. You have to take your minerals. You cannot grow cells without minerals. We have to take our omega-3s, our omegas. Cannot make progesterone or cannot make anything. Progesterone is used for so many hundreds of uses in the body. Cannot have healthy blood. Cannot have a healthy brain, cannot have healthy nerves. We need because why do we use the pre and probiotics? Because all the oil that's put on the soil has killed off all the soil is supposed to have microbes in it, that when we eat the food, the microbes are supposed to be in the food. And if the food is industrial, then there'll be no microbes in it. That's why we take a microbiome. And then if there are other diseases then that we have, so the great thing about us is that if you have a problem, we just give you one solution. You use it. You cut out all the unnecessary expense. Turn away from hundreds of things that are sold in the supermarket. At least 80% of stuff that's sold in the supermarket is actually made from petrochemicals or some form of industrial waste. So I'll be putting up some videos on this post, try and help people see the problems and where we're getting our information from, and also, as I say, the solution, to support people with the solution. So for me, it's important that I'm healthy and that my family are healthy. And also, we have one daughter, and it's again for her generation to try and let her see through the experiences that I've come through, so that she can protect herself. And then when I go out and talk to people, that they know that they are being protected, that we're looking to care for them, that we're not, that it's, the bottom line is not, profit line is nothing to do with it, because you could have all the therapists and all the doctors in the entire world. It's a bit like Humpty Dumpty to put us back together again. They won't put us back together again. And you could have all the money in the world. It's no use unless you actually have the knowledge and the tools to make whole health. So that's what we're doing. We're taking care of each other. So that's it. We're in the transition. So as I say, we're going back. We see wind energy. We see cars going back to electricity. We see, is there anything else? The cars and of course medicine. Now we're going back to nutraceuticals and clean energy and non-pollution and a circular economy. And with CISL, that's what we've had for 40 years, circular economy, because Tom Senior, who started the company way back, he actually was an industrial chemist at the time, and it was, again, had to do with oil. And when he was working as honourably as he could, and when it was brought to his attention, he said, there's no need for all of this. We can make, science is there, the research is there, we can actually make things that are safe and healthy for people. That's where he started. And that was 40 years ago, and we're now at CISL, and the benefits and the advances that are made are just unbelievably, incredibly advanced and so effective, work so quickly. They work the minute you put them on or in your body, they start to work. So I have to get that off my mind, off my chest, as I say, because it was weighing on my mind that when I go out and talk to people, who am I? I was never really involved in business or anything like that, or have any interest in the business world. When I started doing my reflexology, I started to learn so much, and that's where I realized that I was trying to do something that was impossible, because when the person would leave me, they'd go back and do the same thing again. They'd go back and shop the same way. So it's not about doing a therapy, or it's not about doing going to a doctor. It's about getting knowledge. When you have knowledge and support, you can take care of yourself and your family and your friends if they need it, because people really, you need to be hungry to be for it to be healthy, you need to be hungry. You need to have I have a hiccup now. You really need to have hunger. So a lot of books. I read a lot of books and met a lot of scientists and a lot of people that were talking about environmental issues. One of them was, of course, Professor Samuel Epstein. And I saw him on a documentary. I had to go to Dublin to see it. It wasn't for public viewing. I had to go and I had to look at it. It was in a small cinema in Dublin, and it was called The Corporation. And I put up a picture of all the 10 companies that virtually run our supermarkets. And they are corporations. And the only interest they have is making money for their shareholders. That's it. And this video documentary is about corporations and how they work and how they're protected by laws and how they might pay out money. But when they're paying out money, it's not even scratching the surface on their profits. So I suppose we have to come back, and I'd often say we have to come back to business, and we have to be able to go to the owner or the manufacturer of the products that we're buying, because the person we buy the products from take responsibility for what they sell. I suppose it's going back to when I was a child. We would buy products, whether it was our meat or groceries, from shops that we trusted, that we knew had a personal. The person that owned it was behind the counter, basically. And that's what we can do. That's what we're doing at Sizzle. I might talk to you, but I'm in a link with a team of people that bring you directly to Tom Maher. You can meet him, you can go and visit the company, and you can hear him talk, gives us information on Zooms. And so he takes responsibility. There's nobody between him and me, the customer, and myself. I don't have any products to sell. I buy it directly from Sizzle. And when I talk to people, they have to buy it from Sizzle. If they want questions, I answer it. If I don't know the answer, I find the answer out from someone in my team, or we go directly to Tom Maher. If there's any problem with the products, the company take full responsibility. But it might be damaged en route and not in the post. They still take responsibility. Once you order a product, you guaranteed that you're going to get it. You're also guaranteed that it does exactly what it says on the box. Yeah, no hype. So I had to say, I really had to get this off my chest, I suppose, really. And just say that we are entering an amazing, amazing world. Yes, there's going to be a lot of disruption and confusion, because that's what they love. They love, it's like sickness. They want you to get confused about it. They don't want you to see how simple it is that you buy your products and you buy your supplements and you get healthy. You eliminate all the middle people and get rid of them all. You don't need them. You need to look after yourself and your family, because you are more valuable than anything else in the world. So, I don't know how you're going to make this now. But anyway, I'll be putting up videos. So the reason I put up videos is you'll know where they're coming from. I put up that video. It's a documentary. You can watch it on YouTube. It's called The Corporation. And Samuel Epstein, our amazing Samuel Epstein, is in it. And of course, I suppose people don't pay attention to much. They sort of think, oh, sure, someone else will look after someone else. It's not until it comes and knocks on your door. And right now, with oil coming to an end, we're only seeing the beginning of it now, but oil is coming to an end, and we're going into a new sustainable green economy, global economy. Anybody who cannot meet the needs of the circular economy will not make it through. So that's why I go out and I talk to people and I'd say, I want as many people as possible to take care of their health, to wake up, to see what's going on, so that they can be part of our team in moving forward and live a happy, healthy and prosperous life. Prosperity is very important. It's not about wealth. The pharmaceuticals and the chemical industry, they produce jobs, and the only thing they want is the bottom line. It's wealth, accumulation of wealth, and it's never enough. I suppose for us, what we do, we come back and we'd say, we want people to be prosperous. If you have, that's the way we work in our house. We just say, look, there's so much money we have. What do I need? Is that necessary? Will that add value to our lives? If it doesn't add value, it doesn't come in. So we are all about prosperity. And prosperity is, you can have wealth and okay, getting money in the bank, you can buy all the stuff you want, you'll still have that emptiness inside. When you're prosperous, you have so much money, use it properly. You make sure that your health as well is with you're happy, healthy and wealthy, that you know where your money is going, that you have as good a house as you can, that you have, make sure that your friends are supportive and encouraging and loving friends, that when you buy something that's actually going to add value to your life. Prosperity is all about knowledge and growth. We need to grow also. So we are growing a new economy. So we will see new stuff coming out to be sold. But it is something that's going to be cleaning and building our water and our air, and reversing disease and preventing disease. That's so important. We need to get rid of the cancers and all the disease, the rheumatoid arthritis and the infertilities. And also we need, for longevity. My birthday was not so long ago. Of course, I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But I was a baby boomer. And I'm 72. But it is so important that I stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can. Because gone are the days of the nursing homes and when I look at old people struggling, no need to struggle anymore, but you do need the knowledge, support. And I get overjoyed sometimes when I know what we have. And then on the other hand, it saddens me to see the pain that people are still going through. And the only thing that people can do is wake up in their own time. It's not for me to wake them up. But all I can do is continue sowing the seed. So anyway, have a blessed day. And if you watch this till the end, I thank you for your patience and attention. God bless.